Well, something epic. We're going to tell the entire 6 million year story of us, from our deepest, most ancient origins all the way to our global presence today. So, let's dive right in and trace the journey that made us who we are.
It's really the ultimate question, isn't it? I mean, forget your parents or your grandparents for a second. Where did our journey as a species actually begin? What incredible chain of events stretching over millions of years led to you sitting here right now? Well, to answer that, we first need to get to know our family.
So, our story really starts by zooming way out. We belong to a biological family called hominidae. You can just call them the hominids. Think of it like our big, extended family reunion. You've got your gorillas over there, your orangutans, and then our absolute closest living relatives, the chimpanzees and bonobos. And then there's us. We are all part of this great ape family, sharing a common ancestor way, way back in time.
This timeline here shows the key moments our paths forked. So, after splitting from the ancestors of other great apes about 10 million years ago, our lineage hit the most important fork in the road. Right around 6 million years ago, our line split from the one that would eventually become modern chimpanzees. That right there is where our unique human story truly kicks off.
So just how close are we to our chimpanzee cousins? This close. We share a staggering 98.8% of our DNA with them. That means that tiny little 1.2% difference is responsible for everything from Shakespeare to space travel to smartphones. It's in that sliver of genetic code that our incredible story unfolds. So what was the first big step that sent us down such a different path?
It was a simple but utterly revolutionary act: standing up. Bipedalism, walking on two legs, was the first major adaptation that set our ancestors apart from everyone else. It was a massive gamble, a complete re-engineering of the body plan that would have enormous consequences.
And to walk tall, our whole bodies had to be completely overhauled. Our skull shifted to balance right on top of our spine, not hanging out in front of it. That simple C-shaped spine of an ape became an S-curve, acting like a shock absorber. And the pelvis, it went from long and narrow to a short, supportive bowl. Every single bone you see here tells a part of the story of a body adapting to a radical new way of life.
But why? Why make such a drastic change? Well, because the advantages were a total game changer. Standing up meant you could suddenly see over the tall grass, spotting predators before they spotted you. It freed up your hands to carry food back to your family, and later, to invent and use tools. You could travel longer distances using way less energy, and you stayed cooler under that hot African sun. Walking upright wasn't just a new way to get around. It was our first superpower.
Okay, so how in the world do we know any of this stuff? We follow the evidence. Like detectives on a cold case that's millions of years old, scientists piece together our story from the clues our ancestors left behind, their bones. So let's meet a few of the stars of the show. If we go back about 4.4 million years, you meet Artie, an ancestor who was still pretty comfortable up in the trees, but was definitely starting to walk upright. Then comes maybe the most famous fossil of all, Lucy, from 3.2 million years ago. Her skeleton was the proof that walking on two legs was officially our new normal. And then, a huge milestone, Homo habilis, the handyman. He wasn't just walking, he's the first of our direct line to be found with stone tools.
Now, while our bodies were changing on the outside, the real revolution was happening inside our heads. Just look at this explosion in brain size. We went from the chimp-sized brain of an Australopithecus to a big jump with Homo habilis, all the way to us. Our brains more than tripled in size. This wasn't just an upgrade. This was like getting entirely new hardware for thinking, for creating, and for connecting with each other.
Bones and brain size, they tell a powerful story for sure, but they are not the only proof we have. Not by a long shot. The case for our evolution is built on multiple, totally independent lines of evidence, and they all point in the exact same direction.
Just look at our first tech revolution. Around 2.6 million years ago, we find the first Oldowan choppers. Super simple, but they got the job done. But then about 1 million years later, you get the Acheulean hand axe. This is a massive cognitive leap. It's symmetrical, it's clearly planned, it's crafted, it shows foresight and an abstract idea in the mind of its maker.
Fast forward to 40,000 years ago, and we're making highly specialized blades and spears. This progression of technology is a direct mirror of a mind that's growing and changing. And then there's the ultimate confirmation, and it's written in our very own DNA. See, we all carry this thing called mitochondrial DNA, which is passed down just from our mothers. And the cool part is, it mutates at a really steady, predictable rate. It acts like a molecular clock. So when scientists use this clock to figure out how long ago different species split apart, the dates they get match the fossil record almost perfectly. The bones and the genes are telling the exact same story. So we have a bipedal, big-brained, tool-using hominin. This brings us to the final chapter in this whirlwind tour, the incredible story of how our own species, Homo sapiens, went from being a small, local group to inhabiting every single corner of this planet.
And all the evidence we have points to one place, Africa. It's where we find the oldest fossils of our distant ancestors, like Australopithecus. It's where we find the first members of our own genus, Homo. It's where we find the oldest Homo sapiens fossils. And genetically, the amazing diversity found within modern African populations tells us this is the source code for all of humanity. The story of every single person on Earth today starts right there.
And here's the part that's just mind-blowing. Around 70,000 years ago, a relatively small group of our ancestors just walked out of Africa. From there, they spread into Asia, across to Europe, and eventually, they crossed seas to get to Australia and the Americas. It means every single person alive today, no matter where your family is from, is a direct descendant of that small, unbelievably brave group of African explorers. It is, without a doubt, the greatest journey story ever told.
So, from a shared ancestor with other apes to a globe-spanning, city-building, space-faring species, it has been one heck of a journey. But here's the thing to remember. Evolution didn't stop. It's not over. It's happening right now, inside all of us. Which leaves us with one final fascinating question to think about. What's the next chapter in the human story?